Hi, I'm Terry Mewson, founder of Orphans Promise and co-host of the 700 Club. And for the next few minutes, I'd like to talk to you about the important role you and I can play in helping those around us who are less fortunate. I've been blessed with some incredible experiences in life, and God has given me numerous platforms to share with others about my passion to help children in need. Here's a brief look back on my God adventure through the years.
At a different time, we could start again, but always just stop, and we want now. Yeah, it's a wonder to everyone how we're faced with the future we're meant to jump through the eye of the storm, and it's all down to you. So save all your fears for now, 'cause you'll be picking yourself from the crowd. So just creep out of the darkness, beam into the light. Save all your fears for now. Oh, in a different place, with a new headspace, we could start again. But always just stop, and we want now. Yeah, it's a wonder to everyone how, when faced with the future, we're meant to jump through the eye of the storm, and it's all down to you. So save all your fears for now, 'cause you'll be picking yourself from the crowd. So just creep out of the darkness, beam into the light. Save all your fears for now. So just creep out of the darkness, beam into the light. Save all your fears for now.
Wow, we've come a long way, and we couldn't have done it without the thousands of generous donors who've joined us on this journey. Shockingly, there are still 143 million orphans in the world today, and less than 1% of these children will ever be adopted. So what happens to the other 99%? Who will love and care for them? Orphans Promise will. Today, as you watch, if you'd like to become a part of fulfilling this promise to vulnerable children, you can make a tax-deductible donation at orphanspromise.org. Every gift enables us to create opportunities for orphans and at-risk children to experience love and safety and to find hope for the future. Take a look at how Orphans Promise donors are making a difference. As you've just seen, there are 6 key areas of impact which we've identified as our best opportunities to help orphans and vulnerable children move from at-risk to thriving. So for the next few minutes, I hope to show you how an investment in these 6 areas will bring hope and healing to young people who are hurting. One of the greatest barriers to success for the children we serve is poverty. Kids from families who are struggling financially are at an exponentially greater risk of abuse, neglect, and illiteracy, among other things. When we invest in education, we can unlock opportunities for these children to break the cycle of poverty and overcome their difficult beginnings. Take a look at how we're helping young Syrian refugee children find success through education in Lebanon.
It's very easy to do, relatively easy to do humanitarian aid, a little harder to do the religious piece. And most of my life, my Christian life, I've been praying for God to open up the 1040 window. And now they're knocking at our doors. This window of opportunity will not stay open long.
I still remember when the kids came the first year to our school. They were doing this sign. Victory. They hate Bashar al-Assad. They hate the Syrian regime because Bashar al-Assad killed parents. He did bad things. This is what they say. But today, they act differently. I don't see this sign anymore. Because Heart for Lebanon is telling them about reconciliation, teaching them about forgiveness, and the character of this month is forgiveness. Today, at our chapel, we gathered all the kids, and we were teaching them about forgiveness.
You have to be there to see it. Awesome. For me, I'd rather have my money go into helping them find Jesus Christ, because it's the long term, it's the only solution we know about.
While we know education is important, if a child is starving, he cannot learn. And if he cannot learn, he cannot dream or succeed. For this reason, another key focus at Orphans Promise is nutrition. When we can meet children's physical needs for food, we see their hearts begin to open and their lives begin to change. Here's a great look at how we're serving hope to hungry children in Haiti.
I am Chevner. I am the future of Haiti. This is my family. Every day, I walk to school at the mission of Children's Lifeline. I study hard to become an engineer. I have vision for my future. For me, I pray that one day I'll be able to become something more. Lifeline has given many training programs to help people provide for their families, just as my grandmother is here. We have a clinic that sees more than 50 patients from the community every day to help us remain healthy so we can prepare for our future. beautiful mother. She was given a job where she goes to the Lifeline Garden to find the right fruits and vegetables and then prepares meals for our visiting teams. Many other men and women also have jobs here. Some who help prepare and serve 2,700 hot meals for school children every day. They need this food to stay healthy and focus on their education. My family and I are also fed spiritually daily. We believe the future is not so far off. The future for all of us is right here at Lifeline. Lifeline has created something very impactful that we can show to the world. My journey is just one singular journey, but you have the opportunity to help many more.
Our goal is to see children from difficult backgrounds thrive. All the food and education in the world will still leave them wanting. The only way for these children to truly thrive is to introduce them to Jesus. He's the one who places dreams in their hearts, the one who holds their tomorrow in his hands. We love them because he first loved us. So let's go to Kenya and meet Vivian, who was transformed by one of our discipleship programs through our partnership with CBN's Superbook.
Vivian grew up in a Nairobi slum where her mother was a drug dealer.
I felt like my mother didn't love me. She didn't give me enough food. She brought a lot of bad people to the house, and I was always afraid. I felt like God had forgotten me, and I wanted to cry every day. I was alone in the world.
Then Vivian was taken in by Living Faith International, a ministry supported by CBN's Orphans Promise.
Here at this home, Vivian and the other kids are surrounded by people that love them. They have 3 good meals a day and they're getting a great education. Most importantly, they're learning about God.
Do you guys have school today?
When I first came here, I didn't know anything about God. Learning about God was a very nice thing to me. Now I feel like I have a father who cares for me and loves me.
Vivian and the others often watch Superbook at home.
My favorite story is the story of Joseph. When he was sold by his brothers, God still had a plan for him. I have forgiven my mother the way Joseph forgave his brothers. No matter what someone does to you, if you forgive, it will set you free.
Through Superbook and the consistent Christian care she gets at the home, Vivian is learning to rely on God.
When I was struggling with my science test, I stopped and prayed and asked the Holy Spirit to help me. God helped me remember what I learned, and I got 100% on the test.
Vivian even found it in her heart to pray for her mother.
I pray that God will bless her and that she will prosper and one day be saved. Living in this wonderful home encouraged me to love God. Thank you for giving us this privilege. We don't take it for granted. May God bless you for blessing us.
So far, we've looked at our education, nutrition, and discipleship programs, but I want to take you back to the country where it all began for Orphans Promise. Ukraine is a country with a complex history and equally complex challenges for children who are living in impoverished communities. But when you give to Orphans Promise, you help children begin to thrive and they begin to dream. Watch this story about Christina, just one of thousands of young people we're helping throughout Ukraine.
For generations, Gypsy families in Ukraine have lived in a cycle of poverty. Christina's life has been filled with need and hunger.
Everything is so hard here. When I get older and have children, I really want more for them. I don't want them to experience what I went through.
So she works hard in school and wants to get a good job one day.
I realized in the 6th grade what I want to become a hairdresser when I grow up. I asked my parents to pay for my hairdressing courses, but they said we didn't have enough money for food, let alone extra classes.
Christina goes to a church supported by CBN. She gave her life to Christ and is now in one of the worship groups.
I keep asking God to help make my dreams come true.
At one of our summer camps in Ukraine, Christina met a volunteer who was teaching people to cut hair. She realized Christina has a natural talent for this kind of work.
Thousands of Gypsy families live in camps like this in Western Ukraine. Considered social outcasts by society, it's very difficult for them to find work outside the camp. That's why we're helping Christina to learn job skills she can use right here in her own community.
We knew Christina could succeed on her own, so we bought her all the tools she needed to start her own business. Now she's earning extra money for her family. And we helped her family start farming potatoes.
Because of you, we're no longer hungry. I dreamed of being a hairdresser for a long time, and now it's reality. Thank you so much for helping us.
One of the most rewarding things we get to do at Orphans Promise is help hurting families find hope and healing, which allows at-risk children to remain in their own homes. Our Keeping Families Together program helps children and their parents understand the importance of family while learning how to relate to one another in a healthy way. In addition, the program helps parents who are struggling financially to begin micro-enterprises, teaching them job skills, money management, and responsibility, which in turn strengthens and stabilizes the family home. Here's one family who's been helped.
43-year-old Irma lived with an abusive husband for 13 years. Her worst memories are not of the violence she endured, but of the suffering of her 3 children.
It was like death for me when he would beat our small children. When my Tamara was only 2 years old, I heard her cries as he beat her. I rushed in to save her and then he beat me.
Irma's greatest fear was that one day her husband would kill them all. So after years of abuse, she left him and took all her children.
I explained that I wouldn't have proper house, food or money. They all said, yes, we will starve rather than stay here.
As a single mother with 3 children, Irma received $45 a month in government support. It was only enough for 2 weeks of food.
They were starving together with me. They got sick too and almost died because we had no medicine. I said to myself, Irma, you have to do something.
Irma had knitting and sewing skills, so she began to take yarn from existing clothing to make new ones to sell. But with no money for supplies, she could only knit and sell a few items.
I began to pray to God, please provide me with yarn and fabric so that I can make more money to feed my family.
A church that partners with CBN's Orphans Promise heard about Irma and her children. We brought food and a special invitation to the Orphans Promise Training Center hosted by the church.
I enjoy being in the center. I have many friends there.
The kids always come home full from there. They say, Mom, we have already eaten.
But we wanted to do more to help Irma, so we bought her a sewing machine and all the supplies she needs to start a small business.
It is a joyful day for me. I will be able to sew bedding and towels and knit sweaters and hats with the help of your gifts.
I am very happy. Please accept a very big thank you from all of us.
My kids no longer go hungry. Everything is fine with us now. Thank you so much for that.
It is so humbling to be a part of this incredible work being done all over the world. My Orphans Promise adventure began when my husband and I adopted 3 young girls from Ukraine who had little hope of a future. I realized through that process that there were still millions of children just like my girls who needed help. I may not have been able to bring them all home, but I knew leaving them there without helping was not an option. That's when you stepped in. Every single person who says yes to Orphans Promise says yes to a hope and a future for vulnerable children around the world. Together, we can break the chains of poverty and suffering. You can help carry out God's call to care for the widow and the orphan by joining us in making a donation at orphanspromise.org. Now, I'd like you to see a story from a young woman in one of our anti-trafficking programs. In every corner of the world, from small-town USA to countries like Spain, Nigeria, and Costa Rica, human trafficking and sexual exploitation are a terrible blight on humanity, leaving only pain and brokenness in their wake. It's so important for us to shine a light on those dark areas and help set these captives free. B is a young woman who has been set free. B was shot, abused, and trafficked by her older brother since she was 5 years old. Her name has been changed and her face won't be shown to protect her anonymity. This is the kind of thing that happens behind closed doors across the world. However, this story takes place in one of the biggest tourist destinations in America, Williamsburg, Virginia. It's an area known for its traditional values and civilized way of life, but something much darker is happening in the shadows.
My childhood was painful. My life changed forever when I was 5 years old. I was about to take a bath. I remember being excited because I was starting kindergarten, but my excitement soon turned to devastation. My brother molested me that night in the bathtub, and the assault continued in my bedroom later that night.
B felt like she had nowhere to turn for help. Her mother died, her father wasn't around, and her brother kept taking advantage of her from the age of 5 into her teen years and then into adulthood.
People have asked, why didn't you tell anyone? You have to understand that I was very young and that he threatened me if I did tell. Over the next few years, my own brother raped me, tortured me, and injured me so badly that I cannot have children of my own. I was trafficked by my brother for drugs and money.
B couldn't take it anymore. She cared more about her safety than her brother's threats. She finally told the police and he went to jail. But after serving only 6 years, he got out and began abusing her once again, even waiting for her at work.
He would harass me and rape me. He said that he would be gone by the time I called the police.
Then B's counselor told her about Letitia's House, sponsored by Orphans Promise.
The people at the house love me, and so do Jesus. I had loved Jesus when I was a little girl. My mom used to sing hymns with me. She told me God loved me. I had new hope because of Letitia House. I also had new dreams for my future. I wanted to help children feel safe and loved at a young age.
Now, with the help of Letitia's House, B got the help to put her trafficking brother away in prison for good. She's in counseling, lives with other women who are dealing with the wounds of sexual abuse, is exercising, studying the Bible, and doing other activities with her new friends to get her life back.
Bee is working on her bachelor's degree in early childhood development, funded in part by Orphans Promise. With her degree, Bee will be the first in her family to finish college, and now she wants to help children live the life they were meant to live.
I will be kind and loving like Jesus. I will make a difference in this world. My life will count. Thank you, Orphan Promise, for helping us, for providing the resources that are giving me hope to redeem my past and pursue God's best for my life.
I'm Richard Baker, and I live on Topsail Island in North Carolina. I have been given the Orphans Promise for 12 years. As I travel with people, and the people that go on these trips, they've got great hearts, and they're generous givers with hilarity. And so as I'm around, they spawn me to do more. And just recently, we gave a big gift. It was $100,000, $50,000 went to OP. We did that at the end of the year, and I was walking through the lobby with my brother who runs my rental program at Treasure Realty. And he said, I don't know what's happening. And this literally just happened. 20% increase over any year in reservations. And Linda looked at me and she said, remember we gave that gift? This is the end of January. I said, oh yeah, God's showing off again. So it was literally, we got goosebumps. I'm getting them right now. But that's what happened. We gave and it multiplied immediately. Me and Linda went down, then we went and built a kitchen. And we got a warehouse with food to warehouse food. So now we were out 5 days a week feeding these children. To dedicate that, we actually cut the ribbon. And I don't think there's ever been anything that lifted me off the ground. She and I sweating, it was hot. We gave out personally over 600 plates of food. So we were there, and the little girl that comes up, children erupt. I said, what just happened? And the interpreter said, and I most of all want to thank you that in the morning, when I wake up now, I have the hope of a meal. And it hit me. It's hit me right now. The hope of a meal. That's why we're there. To give them more than food, also education. They're in a school. What better thing can you do for 800 kids? That's awesome.
Richard and his wife Linda bless my heart so much. To know that their faithfulness is changing a whole community is truly remarkable. That's the kind of legacy you can leave, and I believe God honors that, don't you? Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?